Hello everyone, Mike here. So today I'll be doing a tour of the field. Since the last time I did a tour here, quite a lot has changed. As you can see, I've now got a little hedge that I've planted going right down to a little gateway that I've made for the gator to go through. There is already a hedge here, but it's not evergreen and it is a bit slow to get going, so I thought I'd invest in a bit of a hardier and faster growing hedge as well, just to help break the wind and just for a bit of privacy. As you can see, the Christmas trees that I bought, not sure if I ever showed these or not, I think I did. They've done really well. They're now starting to grow, but all of them made it through the winter, which is good. And I did get an extra one that was given to me, but I don't think it will amount to much, but we'll see. I've had to remove the top because it was dead and there's still a bit that I need to remove, so it's probably not going to be a very perfect Christmas tree, but we'll see. It will probably be good for something, even if I just put it in with my chickens or something, so they got something to play with. So I've got plenty in the compost heap. I need to sort it out because obviously these bigger branches won't break down as easily, so I need to sort of strip those and basically process a lot of them, and there's a few brambles in it that I need to remove because they won't break down in the compost, they'll just start growing. And then this one, I just got to take the grass out of it because this one's almost ready. What I'm tempted to do is put a third bay on either this side or over here, probably over here because I won't have to move as much, because I've got a few Christmas trees in the ground, some other pots and things, so I'll probably just move this because this wouldn't be too difficult to move, and hopefully I won't have to move the water butt, but if I do, that's not an issue. But as you can see, we've got a fair bit of stuff in here in the back. I've just put some manure on top of that, as there's a lot of cardboard which takes a bit of the nitrogen from the soil, so I thought I'd add some dung and all just to help sort of bring that back a bit. And also with all this wood as well, that's going to take a bit of nitrogen from the compost, so again it will just help break it down a bit quicker, but also replace some of the nitrogen that will be lost. So over the last couple of weeks we've managed to get the polytunnel piece completely leveled out, so this is where it's going to go. The field wasn't quite long enough for 120. It would have fit, but I wouldn't have been able to have much of an entrance either side. So the tunnel's going to be 100 foot by 27. We've done this to 30, so we've got a bit of room either side. We've done it to the top hedge, so obviously it's a bit uneven at the bottom, but that doesn't matter so much. And we did it at the same time. Whether it will work now because of the polytunnel, I don't know, but because all of this ground down here has been really wet pretty much since I come down into the field over a year ago now, the what would happen is loads of water would just pool here, and I mean loads, especially at the bottom. So we dug this trench in the hopes that in the winter it will fill up. And bear in mind, it's been really dry here for ages. Well, you can see all the soil around, it's all dry, and even now inside a lot of the soil in here is damp. So I'm hoping even with the tunnel up it will still fill up a little bit, and if it does, it'll probably only fill up in the winter. That's what I'm thinking will happen. But if it does, I'm going to get some ducks, I think. Just need to make this fence along here a little bit more secure because it's not really had much done to it in a while. I've also planted a little hedge along here just as a bit of a windbreak, but this will probably just be like a little shaded garden at the bottom. That's my plan anyway, is just to have some things that need a bit more shelter but that can go outside. So I'm thinking maybe some mint and things like that just growing down here. But you can just about get up around the other side, although I did try it with the gator and it didn't quite fit. But that doesn't matter, I could get through with a wheelbarrow, easy. And I'm going to have an entrance on each side of the polytunnel, just so that both sides can be used a bit better then. and I want to put some wire netting. I've already cleared out the bushes behind it because they were sort of growing in over, so I've made a little walkway to go around. I'm going to put some wire netting along here so that if I do have any chickens and things like, you know, free range all the time, they're a bit safer, because at the minute I can only really let the chickens out while I'm going to be here. And obviously if I got to go, because of how many foxes are in this area, and, you know, neighbours with dogs, and there's a footpath right next to the field, and, you know, people let their dogs come into the field, so I'd rather just put them back in again so that they're safe. So I got some daffodils last year and I had loads of them, and I never got around to planting them, but I think it was sort of November, December time I managed to plant them, which is, well, a bit late. In fact, I think it might have been more like January that I planted them, so it was very late to plant them. But as a result, I've had really, really late daffodils, because these are all still flowering. There's still ones in bud that are ready to flower, whereas all of the other daffodils, I'll see if I can find some on the hedge, have all finished. Yeah, so here are all the other daffodils have all finished flowering. Literally everywhere the daffodils are finished, but because I planted mine late, I still got a few flowering. So I did a video on how to make an arc, and here are the arcs I got. So I've got two standard arcs like this, and then I've just got a house and run. They're the same really, just different designs. This one I used feather edge boards for this, but it didn't really work so well for the doors and things. I did manage to do it on this one, but then for the other two doors I sort of gave up a little bit and just did shiplap because it's a bit easier to use. And then this one's just out of an old house. I've made the house, well, I doubled the size of the actual house and then made a little run. So they've all got approximately 12 square feet. So these ones have got 4 square feet each. The other chickens have 3 square feet each outside. But I've, you know, made sure that the ones that there are 3 square feet each, they're all the smaller ones, whereas obviously these are larger hens. And believe it or not, I move this every single day and they've already destroyed the grass in it. They're really good at eating the grass down, which is brilliant. You can see where they've been because there's just no grass behind them. There's like a trail of before I've moved their houses. And then the black pekins, I experimented with putting wire on the floor, but I don't think I'd do it again because they just can't get to the grass as easily, and it's hard to clean them out a little bit then because some of the poo gets stuck in the wire. But what I might do is, if I build another one, move them into the other, and then this could be one for chicks, or if I keep quail again, have some quail in it. But what I do is, because I don't like them being in small pens too much, when I'm around, if I'm going to be around for a few hours, I do let them out. But at least now, in my old chicken pen, they had no access to grass because they'd eaten it down. At least this way, every day, all of the chickens do get access to fresh grass, provided I move them in time. But as you can see, there's just nothing left here. They've just eaten it all down. So I got the rotavator out the other day and just did a nice strip going up through. Currently I've not got much planned. I put a few field beans, but I don't think they'll do anything because they were very old seed. But if they do, that's a bonus. But along the edge here I've planted just a few early potatoes, and I'm going to plant some more, maybe even today. I'll see if I get around it. And I got my perennial kale. I had to move that to the top of the field as it was a bit too windswept down the bottom, and they just weren't doing so well. I planted out some different types of beans and things I got from Honeyvale Farm, but unfortunately I timed it really badly. So all of the weather forecasts are saying there'd be no frost for the next few weeks. So I thought, right, ideal, I'll plant them out. Then a couple hours after I planted them out, the weather forecast changed and they were saying, no, there's going to be frost tomorrow. But I was in school all day and I didn't check the weather forecast, and the next morning they had all died. So the peas just about made it. It didn't do them any good. but they have pretty much all made it, I think. And the broad beans, of course, because they're hardy, but the dwarf beans and the runner beans didn't make it. But I've started some more in the greenhouse, so I'll just move those out then. Fortunately, I've got plenty of seeds now, so it's not too much of an issue, but still it's a shame to be wasted. So we had, in one of our little grassy areas, we let some people grow some plants, and they made this little wooden, just like a decorative fence really, although I think it did keep the dogs out a little bit. I think it's mainly from hazel that they've coppiced on one of the allotments, and they then put it up in this little grassed area with there's a nice trough in the middle of it, and it looked really, really nice, but then they had to move, so they took it all down. And the other day we were just cutting the grass and I found it, excuse the tractor in the background. But yeah, so basically we found it under the hedge. It's just been like pushed underneath, so I brought the gator around and brought it all down to the field. It's not like the thickest fence or anything like that. It's not going to be very strong, probably won't keep much out, but it will look really nice, hopefully. So I'm going to try and put that up. I'm not sure if I'm going to have it like along by the laurel there or something, or whether I'll have it at like the bottom of the field, just as a decorational thing. I don't really know. Or I might have it along the polytunnel, but it will probably only go about halfway. So other than that, there's not much to show you. I've just replanted some Sweet Williams here that were at, well, where the polytunnel leveled out piece is now. I had to move some dahlias, but other than that I didn't really have to move much, except for a few cuttings that are in a bucket now. Unfortunately they didn't really root. They were starting to, but it was just bad timing really, because I had to move it for the tunnel. And see, this was the one they were in, and they only just caught it, but it wasn't worth it if they all got snapped and broken, so I've got to replant that at some time. But I'm hoping that the rest of these will take. I don't think the Pittosporum will. A lot of them seem to be dying, but I think the privet will take. And I'm hoping look, some of these are even growing. So I would say they've taken by now. And then the gristolinia should take, and I'm hoping the laurel will take, because they'll be good to grow on and sell. But I'll just have to see. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Bye.